Gridiron Grinder! Hut hut hike!
All right, it's Friday night, Gridiron Grinder time. I'm Ryan. With me, as always, is my buddy James. Just a couple of dudes hanging out, talking about what's going on in the NFL each week. This is episode 105, keeping it going strong. And for tonight, we are going to kick things off with Name That Stadium, like we always do. After that, we're going to hit the news from this past week. And then we're going to jump in and take a look at the Madden 23 player ratings. We used them in our show a little bit last week, but didn't really analyze them too much. Tonight, we're going to kind of dig in, see what sticks out, what kind of things maybe we would have done differently, and I don't know, what we like, don't like, all that kind of jazz. And then lastly, we'll close things off with question of the week. And so, with all that being said, how's it going tonight, James?
It's going good. How's it going with you?
It's going good, man. I'm going good. I think we gotta nail this frickin' show tonight because our views were down from last week. We got two shows over 100 views recently. Felt pretty good. And this past one was kind of a little bit of a stinker. And so, I get it. It's summertime. The topics aren't always like totally dynamite or whatever, but still, it felt good getting into triple digits.
Yeah, I forgot that the second one went into triple digits. I don't think I realized that looking
Yeah,
at it.
I knew it was creeping up there, but I don't think I realized it hit 100 until just the other day, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's
So
not
either
bad.
way, that's a perfect time to segue into before we do name that stadium. Let's just get this out of the way ahead of time. For all of our viewers, you've been following us for a while. You've been hitting us up with views and likes and whatnot. You know, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. It helps us big time. And kind of like last week, views were down, but in other videos, views were up. Tell us what's going on. What do you like? What don't you like? What kind of topics do you want us to hit up? It's the off season, so sometimes we got to dig deep, but we are right around the corner from having some football. So we'll get back into our regular routine before you know it. So yeah, good stuff, huh, James?
Yeah, good stuff. Hopefully, it's just like an issue on my end, but I think your camera froze.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, here, let me turn it on and turn it off just to be safe. How am I looking now?
There we go.
Better?
Much better.
Okay. Good
Yeah.
stuff. All right, let's jump in and name that stadium. So, for anybody who's watching, this is a part of the show where, as you can see, James is out there traveling the country, and in tonight's case, maybe doing a little bit of time travel. But anyhow, he's got a different stadium in his background every week. If you think you know what stadium that is, hit us up in our comments section. First person to get it right gets a shout out in next week's show. It's as simple as that. And so, James, where were we at last week, man?
Last week I was at SoFi. Going into it with what we were doing with the redraft, not the redraft, but the drafting current players. When I started looking at stuff, it kind of felt like to me that the team with the highest chance of players to go, since we were just doing the first round, would be the Rams. And because you got Donald, you got Stafford, you got Cup that's been pretty good recently. So I was like, anybody's going to have more than one player, it's going to be the Rams.
Oh, gotcha. It's almost like, Alabama every year in the real draft.
Yeah.
They got like the most players that go in the first round and all that. You were looking at it from that kind of an angle. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. Except for last year, I think it was Georgia that had most players in the first round.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this past year, Georgia just tore it up. I mean, they had so many people go in the draft, not even just the first round, but all the way through. But yeah, pretty good
And
stuff.
didn't they have like five players going like the top 15 or something like that?
Man, I'm trying to think. I mean, I know their defense was like freaking insane. They did have that one linebacker slipped a couple rounds. People
Yeah.
got worried about him. He ended up landing with Philly. But yeah, no, I mean, hey, they did pretty well for themselves. And I can tell you're looking it up right now.
All right. So it wasn't the top 15. It was five people in the first round.
Yeah, that's still pretty badass, man.
Yeah.
More than 10% of the first round.
Yeah. And like, well, one or two of them what's his face? Like if you want to count Ohio State's, I think Ohio State had the most.
Okay.
Especially seeing as though no, Ohio State didn't have the most, but one of the wide receivers, it wasn't. Yeah, it was Jameson Williams. I think he
Oh,
started
transferred
his
from Ohio State?
transfer from Ohio State. So you had basically three Ohio State receivers go in the first round.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. And, I think that was one of the reasons why he transferred, is it was
Mhm.
just too many mouths to feed. He knew they
Yeah,
were all
with
freaking badasses.
exactly.
But he ended up going to Alabama and freaking carving up Alabama competition. So
Mhm.
I like that. I'm hoping it works out well for us Lions, man.
Here, reading good things about him.
Nice. Well, I saw Madden. We'll get to it later, but just a little sneak peek on him. I believe the dude came in with 98 speed, man, on Madden, which is, that's a monster rating. So we
Mhm.
just need him to get healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Get him healthy and it'll be good.
Okay, well, let's move it over. Let's do our recap of the past week. And so, James, I was actually pretty surprised there was a decent amount of news from this past week. I know that, you get training camp stuff is starting to come with injuries and things like that. But just overall, there was a lot here. And so I'll just kind of start with probably the big news of the week, which was DK Metcalf. Uh, One of my favorite wide receivers, by the way. The dude's a freaking beast. Signed a 3-year extension with the Seahawks, worth 72 million, and it has 58.2 million in guaranteed money. And so I know you
Well,
had commented the
that
other day about
guaranteed
this.
the guaranteed money's a little bit different. So the 58 whatever million in guaranteed money is includes the 30 million signing bonus. So it's
Okay.
a 72 million extension with a $30 million signing bonus. So really it's really only 28 guaranteed after the signing bonus.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, and when you're looking at basically a 24 per year average, it's almost like after next season, if they really wanted to cut bait, you know,
Yeah,
whatever
like
whatever the
the
cap game
cap
is.
hit if
But
they cut bait after next season because if it's 28 guaranteed outside the signing bonus and you get the signing bonus, so I mean it would cost them it'd be 14 million. It'd be the year after that year after
yeah,
it'd be back to cut. Well, no, because it's an extension, so it goes through 26, I think.
okay.
Because I think he was still under contract for this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was under contract. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you can look it up. I see you typing away
No,
there.
I'm I'm certain he's under contract. It's just I don't know if it was just this year or if it was this year and next year
Yeah,
is what I was wondering. Because then and they might have him locked up for like 5 years and
yeah, but we did talk about the 3-year timing is maybe smart on his part if they are truly reverting to a run first offense, which it
Mhm.
looks like they're obviously going to do for this year, unless they make a trade for a quarterback. And let's just say they don't get good quarterback play, he's not there forever. And so it gives him another chance to go and play somewhere else if he doesn't like what they got going on. Which, I got
Mhm.
to believe his targets are going to come down just as a product of everything they got going on offensively. And so, you know, I think it was good that he stayed, but it could end up hurting him statistically.
Yeah, so my web browser kind of froze up a little bit on me, so sorry for the delay. So yeah, so they have him under contract through 2025. So he only had 1 year, and the out would be after 24. Um,
Okay.
it's
All right. No
weird.
biggie.
It's just weird looking at the the contract value because
What are you comparing him to,
wow,
like Tyreek Hill and
no,
whoever else?
so that 72 or whatever
Yeah.
includes the signing bonus.
All right. So I mean, it truly is basically 24 million a year.
Yeah, truly is 24 million a year.
That's a lot of money, man.
It's like their cap hit's a little bit different. Like it's next year their cap hit's only 14, then it's like 24 and a half, and then 30. But
Okay.
this
Well,
this
the
data
cap,
has to be wrong. Anyways,
it's what do we call it now? Fake cap. It doesn't matter.
yeah, it's the fake cap.
Fake cap or a cap. I don't know how we got to come up with a cool way of doing it. But all right. So the next piece I had, James, which I'm sure you heard about, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers center Ryan Jensen. Looks like he may be out for the season with a knee injury. He got hurt in practice. The Tampa Bay offensive line, to be honest, was pretty stacked, but they did shake things up because they had a guy retire. Um, you know, they made the trade with the Patriots to bring in a guy that was good, but and then they drafted Gadecki out of Central, but it's going to be hard to replace Jensen. The guy was pretty solid, and so it's going to be a setback for him nonetheless.
Yeah, I actually missed the Jensen injury, so
Oh, gotcha.
I I hadn't seen it, so that was news to me. I was just looking at the news and I saw it. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think he got hurt a day or two ago, but it was just kind of announced today that they think pretty confidently he's going to be out for the year. Um, so the next one I got, not as serious, but another injury. Safety Jamal Adams, he has broken a finger in practice, and it looks like he is going to be wearing a special kind of cast come week one. Um, typically broken bones like a finger, I've always heard it's like up to 8 weeks, give or take. And so I think he'll be fine. The cast is probably going to be just to make sure it heals all the way before they let it come off. I don't think he's going to be wearing it too long into the season, but who knows? If it was some kind of a severe break, it could be different.
Yeah, I'm not, his like I wasn't really worried about. Like I read he's going to be fine with it, and
Yeah.
so
And then the next one, not necessarily an injury, but the Houston Texans rookie wide receiver John Mechie. Uh, he has been diagnosed with a form of leukemia. It's similar to what Chuck Pagano had a few years back. Looks like everyone's expecting it to be a full recovery. Looks like a very beatable kind of cancer, but he's going to be sitting out for this season to go through all of his treatment. And so all I can really say about that is best of luck to that guy, man. I know the Texans were excited to get him. I'm sure he was excited to be there. Any kind of cancer is some scary stuff.
mhm.
And so, fingers crossed for this guy.
Yeah, I had heard that it was basically. I'm not going to say a non-issue because, like you said, any type of cancer is a serious thing. But I had heard that it's the most curable form of leukemia you could possibly have.
Yep. Yeah, and I remember when Chuck Pagano went through it, he ended up missing some of that season as he went through treatment. But I want to say he came back at the end of the year. Um, and, he did pretty good, but different circumstances, obviously.
Hmm.
Older coach versus younger player. Coach doesn't have the physical demands as the player. But also the coach, you could say, because he's older in age, maybe not recover as fast. But either way, we want this guy to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, and he's taking the year off, so I mean, from what I hear, he'll be fine. So
Gotcha. And so then there were a couple other, I would say, sort of like key injury news pieces that are worth mentioning. I saw for the Dallas Cowboys, It's expected that Michael Gallup, coming off an ACL injury, uh, he's going to likely miss some early part of the season. I don't think they're expecting it to be too extensive, but it looks like at least week one, maybe plus. And similar for Chase Young from the Washington Commanders. He's also coming off an ACL injury, and they're saying they're expecting him likely to be out for week one, maybe plus a little bit more time. And so those are kind of key guys for those teams right now. Um, hopefully it doesn't go too long, but you also don't want to rush it and make it a more permanent kind of injury or a longer delay to getting back on the field. And so, I'm excited to see them when they're ready, and hopefully they come back healthy too.
Yeah, exactly.
So after that, James, we got a couple of retirements. I saw Ryan Kerrigan from Washington. He was a longtime stalwart for that defense, edge rusher. He is their franchise sack leader with 95 and a half sacks. Also a four-time Pro Bowler, 11 seasons in the league. He's decided to hang it up. Good for him. I've always liked him.
Mm-hmm.
And then another guy who announced his retirement, who I've always felt was an underrated defensive lineman, Derek Wolfe. He's had 10 seasons in the league, won a Super Bowl with the Broncos. He's kind of one of those blue collar sort of guys. He's had a lot of production over the course of his career, but he's never really been, one of those big name guys that you talk about. And so, good for him. 10 seasons, a decade in the NFL, man. It's impressive. And, wish these guys both the best in their retirement.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then I will, I guess I'll start with this, and we'll finish, at least from my end, with, the little bit of dramatic news. But Carlos Dunlap signed a 1-year deal with Kansas City. James, I like this guy. We talked about him before when he signed with Seattle and gave like an immediate boost to their defense. He's getting a little bit long in the tooth, but he signed a 1-year, $8 million deal. I think he can still be a solid contributor. The dude had 8.5 sacks for Seattle last year, so I think that's a nice little boost for Kansas City.
Yeah.
And then the last one, James, which, we can talk about this as much as you want, but Kyler Murray, man, he's in the news again. That study clause debacle, however you want to call it. Apparently, the team has decided to remove that language from his contract because somebody got their panties in a bunch, and or they just didn't like the way it was being spun in the media and whatever, how they wanted to portray him. I don't know, man. I think it was a poor choice on their part to go back on it. I think you already had it there. You already took the heat for it. At that point, you should have just left it. Now going back, I mean, it's like, I just think now they look really stupid. But hey, I don't know. Maybe it helps their franchise quarterback sleep at night or something.
All right. So let's start with what this study clause was.
Oh yeah. Please give me the details, James.
Hold on. Let me zoom in because I have it on my phone. I don't have it on my computer, so I kind of have to zoom in and take my glasses off for this. The Independent Study Addendum. It modifies the contract only to the extent specifically set, blah, blah, blah. Player agrees to satisfy the following off-field requirements. Player shall complete at least 4 hours of independent study each week, excluding bye weeks, during the playing season. Playing season is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and why would you exclude the bye week? But we don't have to pick on that.
Independent study means player studies the material provided to him by the club in order to prepare for the club's next upcoming game, including without limitation any such material provided via an iPad or other electronic device. Time spent in mandatory meetings shall not constitute independent study.
Yeah.
Player shall receive no credit for independent study for any period during which player does not personally study the provided material in good faith. For the avoidance of doubt, player shall not receive any credit for independent study with respect to any time periods during which any material is displayed or played on an iPad or other electronic device if A, player is not personally studying or watching the material while it is being displayed or played, or B, player is engaged in any other activity that may distract his attention. For example, watching television, playing video games, or browsing the internet.
Oh yeah, yeah. I could see that. They're trying to go through game film with him, and he's sitting there fucking playing a video game.
In the event player breaches this addendum in any respect at any time during the term of the contract, player shall be deemed to be in default as that term is defined in paragraph. Basically, the contract's void if he doesn't meet it.
Yeah, and so here's the crazy thing is, not only did they go back on it, but the crazy thing to me is they went back on it. The dude freaking signed it, James.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So here's the thing. Here's a couple things about it. I had sent you an article. I don't remember where it was from. But
something about Rich Gannon?
Well, no. First of all, Rich Gannon said if a quarterback's not doing 12 hours a week of studying game film, he's not properly preparing for the game.
Yeah,
that's one thing.
And how relevant is that to now? Because Rich Gannon was playing in a very run-heavy era of the NFL.
Yeah. Secondly, there was an article, I think it was by PFF, talked about how Kyler, like last year or the year before, said something to the effect of he doesn't spend any time studying film or studying the game during the week because he's gifted enough not to need to.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty for a guy that's getting paid millions.
So last week, the week before, the last year and a half, I've been telling you there's something off about Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
There's something off.
Yeah, he just fucking wings it.
He just fucking wings it. And that's why he tails off at the end of the season, because he's not studying the schemes and people are catching up to him.
Yeah, they're like, he's just going to roll out of the pocket. You just got to run him down.
Yeah. But the fact that this was leaked it looks bad for both of them.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah.
One, you give Kyler this much money, but you have to put this addendum to it.
Yep. It's like he's a baby.
Exactly. He is a fucking baby. His removal of all team references on his social media.
Yeah, the scrub.
That's childlike behavior. It's just like the threats to go play baseball. That's childlike behavior. Give me what I want. I would do something else.
I gotta bookmark that in the video, James. Yeah.
It's just like for the team to have to put this in there and feel they have to put this in there in the first place tells you something. Secondly, because there was all this perception on social media, the team was fucking bullied by social media dweebs to fucking take it out of the contract.
Yeah, they caved. And there was no reason to. The dude already signed it.
He signed the contract. Interesting article I read was the reason why they took it out of the contract because of all the backlash on social media towards Kyler for this clause in the contract. The team was afraid that Kyler would switch agents.
Okay.
And if he switches agents, his previous agent gets the commission for this contract. Period. If he switches agents, then that agent is going to start pushing for a new contract sooner.
Yeah, I mean, how many years did he sign for?
I don't even fucking remember. I think it was 4. I think it was 4. I'll look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure it was a 4-year extension.
Yeah, I don't know. It's garbage.
It's garbage for the team to get this and to actually be able to get this signed into the fucking contract and then oh no, we're going to take it out. I don't really believe that the team's taking it out. I think they're just coming out on social media saying they're taking it out because
Oh, no way. He's going to hold him to it. Him and his agent, they're going to hold him to it now. You know,
no, because there's
he would
definitely
throw another temper tantrum, dude.
don't throw a fucking temper tantrum. There is definitely a clause in the contract that says everything, all the terms of this contract are included in this contract. Anything that is thought to be agreed to outside of the contract that is not in this contract is not valid.
Okay.
That's how contracts work.
I know how contracts work, man.
That's how contract works. So let me see. So this year, I think this year was his fourth year. So yeah, so this year would have been his fourth year. So you have the rookie.
All right. It was a 5 year deal.
Yeah.
I just saw it. Yeah. So 5 year
That,
extension. You know. So I mean, he's got to go at least 3 of those 5 before they extend him again. You would think. I mean, he'd have to win the freaking Super Bowl at the end of that third season for you to sign him with 2 years left when you know you can franchise tag him.
yeah.
Because you can make him play the 5 and then franchise him back to back. You got this guy locked in for 7 years.
I don't understand why they gave him a new contract now, anyways.
Because he was crying about it, James.
They have him under contract for another 3 fucking years.
Because of the 5th year option.
Yeah. No. Not because of the 5th year option. He would have been. Well, yeah, because of the 5th year option. Sorry, 2024. He would have been an unrestricted free agent. He's not a championship NFL quarterback. Is he a decent quarterback? Yes. Is he a top half of the league quarterback? Yes. Can he win a Super Bowl? Fuck no.
I don't know, man. Just put him on the Rams, you know, and then all he's got to do is be decent, you know. Stafford threw 2 picks in the big game and still got the ring. I know you're getting sick of me picking on Stafford. You know, it's hard, but I got to do it where
You
I
mean,
can.
let's rephrase. Future Pro Football Hall of Famer Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, yeah,
Super Bowl champion Matthew Stafford.
yeah. The dude was given a gift by being traded to the perfect situation. All he had to do was not mess it up, and he almost did with 2 turnovers. Just saying. Just saying.
That's a discussion for another day.
All right, you're right. So, all right, that's all I had news wise. If you're good, let's move on, man.
There was one thing that I saw, and I'm trying to, I'm like not seeing it now, but I had it earlier. I had it while we were talking, and oh, the Guardian caps.
Okay.
Did you hear Jason Kelsey's comments about it?
No.
Basically, more or less what Jason Kelsey said, reading between the lines and everything, was why don't we fucking just put bubble wrap on everybody from during the practice week. If it's not game day, everybody is just completely wrapped in bubble wrap. Then somebody else came out and said other shit about it, and I forget who it was, but it was like it was pretty. JJ Watt said he's not a fan of the bobblehead
Oh,
Guardian cap.
okay.
This is what he said. You feel like a bobblehead, like you're gonna fall over. I'll probably get fined for this. This is great. You guys are just screwing me to start out the whole new year. There's 15 grand gone.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, I think you know what I think of the Guardian caps we're wearing.
I like JJ Watt. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh. Well, I've wondered how many
This
people
is
are actually going to wear it in a game. Probably zero.
this is great. I'm screwed. I'm absolutely screwed. Roger's gonna call me in like 5 minutes.
Oh, jeez, Roger Goodell. Uh, yeah. It'll just hit you on Venmo instantly. You owe us 15G.
We got a couple of guys that might need to wear them just walking around.
Oh no. Uh,
Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry. I After my rant, I had to end on a funny note.
okay. Good stuff. Well, it was a nice way to end that.
I'm not
Um,
gonna go too deep into this because I've already got 20 grand down. So we're looking at 50,000
whoa,
as
whoa.
as the next one, and then probably like 4 game suspension after that.
Oh, jeez.
So
No.
Guardian caps are great. Love them. It's a great addition.
Oh,
We should wear it all the time.
yeah, wear it in the showers. You never know if you slip.
So yeah,
All right.
that was JJ Watts. Uh that caused me to
Yeah.
laugh so hard I started to tear up a little bit.
I want to get the audio and just have a segment that just has that playing, but
Yeah.
or do one of those like songs that people like do where they take the clip and they turn it into a song. Like that'd be a good one, James, if
Yeah.
we could ever figure that shit out. Okay, moving on. So we're going to review the Madden 23 player ratings. And so, James, what I thought we would do is just kind of like, somewhat quickly take a look at the top tens by position group. We can provide our own top tens if we want. I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time digging into the weeds because some of this is, well, I like this guy better than that guy. And, some of it's hard to quantify. And so, it's a little bit of personal preference when you're talking about the top tier of guys sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, but it'd be fun to do. And then I thought after that, we can basically just look at those position groups and point out any of the ratings that stick out a little bit. And so, there's always some random guy that's like blowing away the speed rating that you don't expect, or some dude with some monster strength rating or whatever, and you're like, whoa, I didn't expect that. And it's just interesting to look at those things, or, oh, hey, this rookie rated this high. Oh my gosh, they're going to be awesome. And it's like, yeah, nobody really has a crystal ball and knows any of these things, but it's cool because Madden puts a lot of time and effort into creating these ratings, and they try to do it in a way that's easy for us normal people to understand, where there's a lot of like variables like arm strength and accuracy and blah 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 blah, but they boil it down to a nice, out of 100 rating. We're up to 99, whatever. And so it's like, oh yeah, this guy's a 99 rated, he's a badass. So it's easy to understand at the end of the day. And then of course, throughout the year, Madden updates this shit all the time, and so it's cool. Like if a rookie starts lighting it up, they're going to boost that guy. Or if a guy busts, they're going to start dragging him down. And so it's just cool. This is just a starting point, basically. So, does that sound good to you, man?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So, looking at the top tens, James, I'm going to start with the quarterbacks. And if you want, I would share my screen, but we know that that's going to mess up our split view. You reminded me of that a couple weeks ago. But so basically, I've got a spreadsheet. I summarize some of the data. You can just pull up the website if you want and filter it by position. Starting with the quarterbacks, we've got from 1 through 10, we've got Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, and Matthew Stafford. And Brady takes the cake with a 97 rating overall. Stafford at the bottom of the top 10 has an 85 rating. You and I kind of talked a little bit about the quarterbacks last week, And, my preference would have been Josh Allen is the top dog for this year. I probably would have went Herbert at 2. And then I think at 3 we were divided. You were thinking Joe Burrow somewhere up in there. I probably would have gone Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, Wilson, and then I would have went Joe Burrow. After that, I would have went Lamar Jackson. I would have had Kirk Cousins in my top 10. I would have had him at 9, and then I would have had Dak Prescott finishing out. Stafford wouldn't have been in it. And I think that's actually really the only one out of the top 10 that wouldn't have been in it. I would have swapped Cousins for Stafford and just changed the order a little bit. So
I don't
fairly
think I would
close.
put Dak Prescott in there. And I would just like to point out, going back to Kyler Murray, you
Yeah,
notice who's not in the top 10?
Kyler Murray.
Yeah. He's actually at number 12.
Yes.
So,
So, all right. So, who would you have in that top 10 other than Dak? So if you
uh,
look Deshaun Watson down, maybe you put Deshaun Watson above him. I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I think Deshaun Watson's at 11 is fucking ridiculous. Like seriously, Deshaun Watson is way better than half the top 10.
Okay.
Um,
So
I,
that
pro-
that
I probably would put Watson somewhere in the top 10 and move Prescott out.
gotcha. Okay. Hey, easy peasy, man. So next up, James, we've got the running backs, and I'll give you the Madden top 10 again. We've got Derrick Henry at top, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, and at 10 we've got Ezekiel Elliott. Derrick Henry's got the top rating, 97. Zeke has an 88, which, hey, I mean, that's good. They've been bringing him down, kind of bringing him back to reality with his, less than spectacular play in recent times. But James, I love Derrick Henry. And, my top 10 looked a lot different. It had a lot of the same guys, just in a different order. If it was up to me, and this is just who I would want, I would have had Chubb at 1, then Jonathan Taylor, then Derrick Henry. After that, I would have went Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, then Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Austin Eckler. And at 10, I would have squeezed in Kareem Hunt over Ezekiel Elliott. I think Elliott is on the way down, and Hunt, if he was on a team where he could be a workhorse, could be a workhorse. He can run, he can catch, he gets it all done. That would have been my top 10, man.
So yeah, so I probably would. I think you're a little bit high. You had McCaffrey at like fourth, fifth.
I had McCaffrey down at 6,
Nice.
and I think the guy's
Okay,
he's an
that's about right
electric
for him.
talent when he's healthy, but I can't trust it.
I think Jonathan Taylor probably would be my number one there. I do not think I would have Zeke in the top 10 at all. And I would actually, and this is going to sound crazy to you. This is going to sound absolutely crazy to you because he is not even in.
Javonte Williams,
No, I'm looking for him. I don't even have him in the top. Holy shit, where is he?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
No, 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 no.
Is there a guy missing from the list?
So they have him rated at a fucking 75, which is crazy to me. But he is a rookie. But if you've watched James Cook fucking play,
Oh, well, that's
he's
why
a
he's not. Yeah,
he's
that
a fucking stud.
so you think he's going to be Dalvin Cook-esque? I mean,
Yeah,
they're kind of like different running styles, but
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 you
I
think
mean
he'll have that
he
kind of an impact.
yeah, I don't like a lot of this like if Josh Jacobs, you can make an argument for Jacobs in the top 10 too. Like
Yeah, I mean, if you
his
know,
injury kind of kills him a little bit. Kareem Hunt, yeah, you know what? I think like 10, 11, 12, I think are fairly equal with Hunt, Jacobs, and James Cook.
I gotcha. Yeah,
So
you're
I,
just picking your poison, you know?
yeah, exactly.
And I mean, honestly, I'd like to see another year of Najee Harris and see if he can turn into almost like a Derrick Henry type. Although, man, the guy caught a lot of passes out of the backfield last year. But if he can take another step up, I might have him flirt with that top 10 because
Yeah.
he has the look of a workhorse. It's just that guys like Eckler and Kamara, they're more of a dual threat and overall production's been higher. Plus, they're more proven. Um, but yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on it, man. And I like Aaron Jones a lot. I had him at fifth. If I think if he was in a situation where he was more the exclusive back, just like he was a few years ago, he can put up some monster freaking stats. And the dude scores touchdowns when you give him the chance, man. He has
Mhm.
got a nose for the freaking end zone, which is like big points in my book, man. Some guys just can't fucking score no matter how good they are.
Yeah, that's very true.
Um, all right, so let's move it on to the wide receivers, James. This one, I'll tell you, man, there's a lot of highly rated wide receivers, and I
Mm.
mean, hey, there's a lot of wide receivers in the league, so I guess it's just like, you know, large numbers. But you've got Devontae Adams at one, then you got Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, and Amari Cooper. Devontae Adams, he's got that rare air 99 rating. Amari Cooper at 10, he's got a 90 rating. And so you can see that, sort of like the breadth of wide receivers, it goes a little bit deeper than these other positions. But at the same time, you only got one quarterback on the field at a time. You usually have at least two wide receivers, so
Mhm.
take it for what you will. I like Devontae Adams as the top dog. If I'm looking for a wide receiver one, and I know you're going to kill me for this, James, but I would probably personally prefer Tyreek Hill over Cooper
Mhm.
Kupp.
Definitely.
And it's just because I think he can do more as a one. I think Kupp, Cup's amazing. I don't want to take anything away from that guy, but I think it's like he's a perfect fit with Sean McVay and what he does. And if you had him in other places, he might not really be a true wide receiver one.
Hmm.
But I put him at three. And then after that, I got Justin Jefferson. I'm super high on that guy. And then I got DK Metcalf, who was a lot further, well, not a lot further down, but he was outside of the top 10. I think the dude's a beast. I think with the right quarterback, he's tearing it up. After that, I got Stephon Diggs. Then I've got DeAndre Hopkins, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, and Mike Evans. Hopkins, man, I like him a lot. He's gotten it done over his career with a lot of different quarterbacks. But lately, it's like he's just always banged up and on the injury report. And, to me, it's a trust thing. I got to trust that you're going to be there. And so that's why he dropped a little bit on my board compared to some of these other guys.
Yeah. The only difference for me is I probably would flip Metcalf and Stephon Diggs. And
Okay.
who'd you say you had at 10?
I had Mike Evans at 10.
Okay, I would move Mike Evans to number 9, and I would put Jamar Chase at number 10.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and Chase, I was actually surprised they had him even farther down. Chase was
Yeah,
their
he's
number
like an 80.
20.
He's like an 87. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, he's their 20th overall guy. And James, here's my opinion on this. I'll actually tell you this. When I reviewed these ratings, a lot of times with younger players, I found that there was an average of about a 3 point rating difference between where I would have put them and where Madden had them. And I think
Mhm.
some of that was maybe me accelerating some of their development. Like I would have done that with Jamar Chase. I would have had him at a 90. And at a 90, that would have put him right on that fringe of the top 10.
Mhm.
And there were a number of guys that I did that with. And then kind of like Hopkins, I hate to say it, I would have toned him down by about 3 points. I would have had him at a 93. I just think he's on that decline phase of his career now, and so I start going the other way. But um, you know, I don't get paid the big bucks to do this professionally. It's just me for shits and giggles.
Well, the thing with Hopkins, isn't he on a PED suspension this year?
Oh yeah, he is. I forgot about that. But yeah, so he's
And
missing the first 6 weeks.
he's missing the first 6 weeks. And my concern is him keep. I'm not disclaimer. I am not saying that this is the case, but is him kind of keeping his ability above water a result of him of the PEDs,
Of the supplements.
of the
Um,
supplements he's taking, and when he stops taking, you're going to see that drastic decline, like kind of like. And I'm not saying this is good. What's going to happen with Julio, but he just kind of dropped off the last 2 years. Yeah, he did have the injuries. Did we touch on that in the news, or was that last week that it
oh, you
happened?
know what? We didn't talk about Julio, but you
Yeah,
can squeeze it in right now.
Julio, who signed with Tampa Bay, he had the last couple of years he was riddled with COVID and injuries. Not riddled with COVID, but
I know
but
what you mean.
he's he's kind of had that huge drop off the last like 2 3 years. He's had great seasons, and is Hopkins keeping his head above water with that based on the supplements he's taking, and you're going to see that drastic decline like we've seen with Julio.
Well,
Is my
he's just got to
concern.
get on the Tom Brady diet, man. You know,
Yeah.
get that fountain of youth, whatever weird food Brady's eating. But no, I know what you mean. It could be. It could be something like that where, it's like he's losing his crutch or something that it kind of prolonged maybe some of the peak of his career, and now it's going to come back to reality. We don't know. I know what you're saying. You got a disclaimer there because we don't really know what happens. And I think Hopkins made a comment that he's been taking these supplements like forever, and so
Hmm.
for him to get popped now was kind of a shocker. Um, but I don't know, dude. I don't know either. I'm not a doctor. I didn't look at the blood test results or whatever. So, uh, yeah, I do worry about that with him though.
Hmm.
All right, so let's go on to the tight ends, James. At tight end, we've got Travis Kelce at the top. Then we got George Kittle, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, TJ Hawkinson, Kyle Pitts, Mike Gesicki, Dallas Goedert, Hunter Henry, and at 10, Zach Ertz. Kelsey, damn close to that 99 club, man. He's got a 98 rating. And at 10 with Ertz, he's sitting at an 84. Um, the tight ends were one of the harder groups for me to pick apart, James. And when I went through mine, I'm just going to tell you here, I flipped Pitts and Hawkinson. I put Pitts
Hmm.
one up because I think he's
Hmm.
more dynamic than Hawkinson.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I'll tell you, I almost put Gasecki above Hawkinson, but I didn't. And then I had Hunter Henry above Dallas Goddard, which I think you know, whatever. It's like whatever flavor you like. And Henry's been hurt a lot over his career. Goddard played kind of behind Zach Ertz for a lot of his career. But I tell you, once you kind of get past, in my opinion, once you get past Gasecki, it really blurs where you can just pick a lot of the guys from like honestly like the next like 10 picks in my opinion. It's very tough to pick them apart. And I was tempted to put Pat Fryermuth from Pittsburgh higher, but they've got a lot of uncertainty at quarterback. I think he showed a lot last year that this is going to be, with the right quarterback, could have been a big breakout year for him. Now that all kind of changes. But it's like, hey, you might like Dalton Schultz better than Zach Ertz at this stage of his career. I'd have no bones with that. Dawson Knox, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Dawson Knox, but same with like Noah Fant. You could say, oh, he's just as good as Zach Ertz right now, maybe because Ertz is in that decline phase of his career. But or a lot of people I saw, James, outside of the Madden ratings, a lot of people have Robert Tonyan rated way higher and probably would have him in their top 10. You can see Madden actually has Tonyan down at freaking 17, which I was kind of surprised about. But I don't put him in my top 10. And so, I kind of like their top 10 picks, just tweak the order a little bit.
So I agree 100% with your top nine.
Okay.
And this is where you and I differ. I really like Dawson Knox. I think I think you're going to be surprised with Dawson Knox this year. Um, I think Zach Ertz is on the decline phase
Yeah,
of his
yeah,
career, and Dawson Knox is on the incline and
yeah.
on the upcoming. So I would that's the only change from your top 10 I would do is flip those two.
No, and I guess my criticism of Knox was maybe not exactly how I meant it. I do like him in terms of he's overperformed, you know, basically everybody's expectations of him.
Hmm.
Um, I guess I just don't want to get carried away with him because I think like physically and talent wise, a lot of these other guys on this list I think have a higher ceiling. He is just made more with what he has, if that makes sense.
I gotcha.
My opinion. My opinion. I don't get paid the big bucks. All right, so moving down to offensive tackles, and so I put you'll notice on the Madden ratings they do left tackle, right tackle. I put them all together, and my opinion is that most of these top guys are going to be left tackles. That's the premium. That's kind of where I focused my attention, but it's not exclusive. And so they've got Trent Williams at one, Tyron Smith, David Bakhtiari, Teron Armstead, Lane Johnson, Tristan Wirfs, Ronnie Stanley, Ryan Ramczyk, Laramie Tunsil, and La'el Collins rounds out their top 10. Trent Williams, rare air 99 rating. La'el Collins, 87 rating. Um, James, I'll say I was really pretty good with this top 10. I flipped um, I flipped Tristan Wirfs and Ronnie Stanley because I believe Ronnie Stanley healthy is better. I flipped Laramie Tunsil and Ryan Ramczyk. And then instead of Collins at 10, I put Jordan Mailata. I like him a lot from Philly. I know that puts two Philly guys in here. But I think once you get down to like 9-ish, 10-ish, it's not as extreme as the tight ends, but I think you can flip some guys in and out of here. Like I like Braden Smith from Indianapolis a lot. Um, I like Rashawn Slater a lot. Um, you know, I even like Trent Brown. I know I'm kind of in the minority there, but I like Trent Brown a lot. And so, it's just pick your poison, man.
All right. So I agree with everything you've said, except for I would put Stanley above Lane Johnson,
Okay, that's
and
fair.
then shift Wirfs down and Johnson down. But
Okay,
outside of that, I completely 100% agree with you.
gotcha. Yeah, and I'll say, for the most part with the Madden ratings, I like their groups, who they
Hmm.
have in their top tens. I don't think that they like really wildly botched on a guy where I'm like, oh my God, how could he be there? Or how
Yeah.
could they forget about this guy? I think it's like pretty freaking reasonable. It's just kind of like I said, some of mine is I'd rather have this guy than that guy. And that's just
Yeah.
personal preference. So, James, let's pick up with the offensive guards. And so our top 10 from the Madden list is Zach Martin, Quentin Nelson, Joel Bitonio, Wyatt Teller, Joe Tooney, Brandon Scherf, Shaq Mason, Kevin Zeitler, Chris Lindstrom, and Andrew Norwell. Zach Martin, solid 98 rating, and Norwell at the bottom of the top 10 with an 82. You can see the ratings for guards fall fast. And so if you get a good guard, you're pretty darn fortunate, I would have to say. Um, my top 10, I would have flipped Quentin Nelson and Zach Martin, which we'll talk more about Zach Martin in a minute. But I would have flipped them. Quentin Nelson to me, everything I ever hear and see about that guy is just amazing. I would have probably boosted Brandon Scherf up a little bit and dropped Wyatt Teller down just a little bit. I also would have bumped up Chris Lidstrom and dropped Shaq Mason. I also would have dropped Zeitler a little bit. And at 10, instead of Norwell, who I've historically liked him a lot, I would have bumped Lake and Tomlinson into that top 10, which is not a stretch. Tomlinson's sitting there at 11. He's got an 81 rating, James. I probably would have put him at an 84, maybe even a little bit higher, because I think he's been impressive, especially with his run blocking.
So you dropped Teller and raised Sheriff. What did you do with Tooney?
Tooney, I actually bumped him up one spot.
Okay. I have no complaints then.
No complaints. Okay.
No complaints. I mean, I think where you're going with Zach Martin makes sense. I think he's a little bit overrated.
Yeah, and I mean, well, when we dig into some of the ratings that stick out, I mean, wow, there's a lot of monster ratings for Zach Martin. But like looking towards the bottom of that top 10, I think I like Cody Whitehair a lot. I like Roger Saffold a lot. Um, you know, I like James Daniels, who was previously a center, but they're listing him at guard here. Maybe that's what he's doing in Pittsburgh. Um, you know, there's some guys down there, and I like Graham Glasgow a lot, formerly from the Lions. There's some guys that I think you could make the case for, but overall, I think the top tens. I like the guys man pick
Yeah.
once again. Okay, so then let's look at center. So at center, James, and then this is it. Then we're off to the defense. At center, we got Corey Linsley, Jason Kelsey, Ryan Jensen, unfortunately now out for the year, it looks like, Rodney Hudson, Frank Ragnow, Creed Humphrey, David Andrews, Chase Rouillet, however you say his name, Eric McCoy, and Mitch Morse. Um, I can't complain about their top three picks. And then this is maybe just me being a little bit biased, but I would have put Ragnow above Hudson if I had my preference. Rodney Hudson's very good though, so it's not, that's not a big deal. Then I would have flipped Creed Humphrey and David Andrews. I just like that David Andrews has been doing it, proven for a long time. Humphrey, so far so good. I just need to see more of it. Chase Rouillet, however you say it, I kept him where he was at. And then I flipped McCoy and Morse. I like Morse. It's another one of these things. The experience is there. He's been steady. Um, you know, After the top 10, you can look at the ratings. And, and by the way, I meant to say Linsley, top rated at 91. So center, much higher or much lower at the top than any of the other positions so far. At 10, Mitch Morse is at a 79. So you see that this is even more extreme than guard. It falls off very fast. And once you get past 10, you go to 77, 75, 74, and it drops fast down to the low 70s. And so I like their top 10. There are guys like Bradley Bozeman. I would have thought he would have been rated higher with how coveted he was in free agency. I would have thought Garrett Brad.
Can we rewind a little bit? Because
Sure.
I'm really confused because I have center up and I have a different top 10 than you did for Madden.
Oh, do you now? I wonder if they already made an update. Let's
So I have
see.
Lindsey, Kelsey, Jensen, Hudson, Ragnow, Humphrey, Andrews, Kelly, Ben Jones, and Roulette.
Kelly, Ben Jones. Wow, why are they not even on my list? Let's see.
So they have Roulette at an 80. And what did you
Wow.
say? And what did you say they had?
Yeah, so
And they
my
have
list is missing Kelly and Ben Jones, which those are
and
actually very good guys. I wonder,
Eric McCoy's rated at a 79. What did your list have him at?
that's what I got him at. But all right, let me add in, let me get my note there. Need to add Ben Jones. Wow, I wonder how I messed that up. Yeah, those guys are both solid. So yeah, they would be in the top 10, and they would likely bump out McCoy and Morse on my list.
Yeah, like the list I'm looking at, like I have absolutely no, maybe like you said, swap like Hudson and Ragnow, but like can't really like argue much
Yeah.
about anything.
Yeah, and I mean their ratings, the way that they ratchet down so significantly, it's hard to make an argument that you would flip these guys because, it's like you go from Hudson with an 89 to Ragnow with an 87. Okay,
Mm.
this is one for me. I would have bumped Ragnow by my 3 point deal and had him at a 90. So it's like, okay, well, that's close. But then you go down to 86, and it's like, okay,
Mhm.
well, you're not going to consider Creed Humphrey above Ragnow or Hudson because it's too far of a drop off at that point.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, there were guys though like Bozeman and Bradbury that I like that I thought could have had a higher rating than the 74 that they got. I also believe Connor Williams is going to do better in Miami playing center, but he's got to prove it because it's new for him to play center. And then there's other guys that you just, I don't know. The rating is what their rating is, but John Feliciano, he's been good in the past mostly, but I can't really complain. Lloyd Cushenberry, same thing. He's been good in the past, but I'm not going to like totally complain about it. And so, yeah, that's my 2 cents there, James.
Mhm.
Okay, so now moving on, we're getting to the defense, and let's start with defensive end. And I'm going to start off, James, by saying I moved a number of the Madden defensive ends to defensive tackle. Notably, Aaron Donald I moved over, Cam Hayward I moved over, and there were probably more guys than that. But I want to give you my scrubbed list of defensive ends for Madden. It'd be Myles Garrett at the top, Nick Bosa, Cameron Jordan, Chris Jones, Joey Bosa, Chandler Jones, Demarcus Lawrence, Rashawn Gary, Daniel Hunter, and Calais Campbell. And, that's my scrub of it. You could tweak this a lot of different ways. Some of these guys go inside and outside. They have some position flexibility, which makes it difficult. Like J.J. Watt, he's listed as a defensive end here. I think, at the end of his time in Houston, they bumped him into defensive tackle, and I'd have to see what he was doing in Arizona because it's a little different of a defense. But some of these guys, it's tricky. And so I did my best to clean it up. With that being the case, Myles Garrett at the top with a 99 rating, Calais Campbell at 10 with an 87. I would have kept Garrett at top. I mean, that's a no brainer. He's one of my favorite players. After him, I would have had Nick Bosa, which is right on. Then instead of Cam Jordan, I would have had Joey Bosa. After Joey Bosa, I would have had Cam Jordan. Then I would have bumped up Demarcus Lawrence. After him, I'd have Chris Jones, Chandler Jones, Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, and at 10, Calais Campbell. And so for me, I brought Hendrickson pretty significantly up on the list. I brought Max Crosby up a little bit on the list. I dropped out Rashawn Gary, and I dropped out Daniel Hunter. Man, I don't know. Hunter in his prime was amazing. The guy's had way too many fucking issues these past couple of years for me to even think about putting him in the top 10.
I think the only argument I have is I might consider switching the Joneses.
Yeah, Chris Jones and Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, Chandler Jones has been phenomenal over the course of his career. I just wonder how much does he still have left in the tank? And we're going to find out with him in Vegas this year. Um,
See, I don't think Chris Jones should even be on the defensive end list.
you see him more as an interior guy?
He's what? Yeah, he's more of an interior guy because remember last year, was it last year? He was struggling last year, and then they got
Yeah, and
who'd
I
they
mean
get?
sorry,
Who'd they
they
get?
list him as a tackle when I Google him. So yeah, he's one that should have been moved over to tackle.
Yeah, yeah. I think he shouldn't be on the list. I definitely probably would push him down further if you want to put him as a defensive end because he struggled at defensive end. And then they moved him inside when they got... Who the fuck did they get?
I know what you're talking about, but I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. Give me a minute. Once I see the name, I recognize it. So I just
take your time.
Retirement editions. Jeez. Like it has literally everything. Cut it like 85. Cut it 80. Ingram. Melvin Ingram.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. All right. Okay.
They traded for him from Pittsburgh, and they moved Chandler Jones back inside, and he did a lot better.
Yeah. Okay. You good there?
Not Chandler Jones, Chris Jones. Yeah, I'm good there.
All right. So now we're looking at defensive tackle. Similar kind of thing. I had to scrub the list a little bit, and so if it's a little off, I did the best I could here. They've got Aaron Donald at 1, no brainer. They actually have him as a top-rated guy overall in Madden. Then they've got Cam Hayward, Vita Vea, Jonathan Allen, DeForest Buckner, Kenny Clark, Fletcher Cox, Jeffrey Simmons, Michael Pierce, and Deron Payne. I like their group of guys for the most part. No-brainer Donald at 1, 99 rating. Deron Payne at 10 has got an 87 rating. This is a pretty solid group after you kind of scrub it like I did. I would have dropped, and you might hate me for this, James, I might have dropped Vita Vea a little bit because he's not an every down guy. When he is on the field, the dude's dominant. Maybe one of the strongest guys in the league. But I think DeForest Buckner is more versatile. He's on the field more. I would probably want him instead. I felt the same way about Jonathan Allen. And then Fletcher Cox, I put above him. And that's just my personal preference. I think Fletcher Cox is, he's at the end of his rope. Vita Vea is probably really the better pick. I just did that out of my own choosing. Then I got Michael Pierce, Jeffrey Simmons, Kenny Clark, and at 10, I pulled up Grady Jarrett, who wasn't that far down. They had him at 12, it looks like. I like Grady Jarrett a lot. I was actually surprised that he wasn't in the top 10, but that's okay. That's all right. He would have gotten my 3-point bump, and I would have squeezed him up there.
Yeah, so like the only slight difference is I would put Chris Jones.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess if I scrub it again and put him in here, so where would you put him in this 10 though? Towards the bottom of the 10? Towards the top?
I might swap him and Fletcher Cox.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, hey, they had him rated as an end at a 91, man. That's pretty solid. That would put him like right at the top 5 if we moved him over to defensive tackle. So hypothetically, if we went just off that. Okay, good shit. Let's move on to linebacker, and we'll start with inside linebacker. This is another one where I think they got, for the most part, the inside linebacker, outside linebackers delineated properly, but there may be a guy or two in question. And so I took their list for what it is. And I see you look like you're chomping at the bit there. Is somebody sticking out to you?
No. I'm just annoyed because you went inside linebacker and I had to switch over to outside. I had outside linebacker loaded.
I can do outside.
No, I already switched over to inside. So
Oh, well, shit. That's what we get for not practicing, James.
Yeah.
But we don't have all that kind of time to just do a mock show. So, all right. So they've got Fred Warner at the top. Then they've got Demario Davis, Levante David, Bobby Wagner, Eric Kendricks, Devondre Campbell, Devin White, Tremaine Edmonds, C.J. Mosley, and Deion Jones at 10. Fred Warner's at the top with a 94 rating. Deion Jones at 10 with an 82 rating, which, by the way, James, you can see there's what is it, 5 or 6 guys with an 82 rating. So nice little cluster there at the bottom. Um, if I had it my way, I would have kept Fred Warner at the top. I think he is the top dog inside linebacker in the league right now. Then I would have went Bobby Wagner. I know he's getting a little bit long in the tooth. I still trust him. I still think these inside linebackers, they can play a lot longer than people think. After that, I go Levante David, who they had at 3. Then I go Demario Davis. I love that Madden had him as the second rated inside linebacker. This is just my personal preference. And I don't think any of those top 4 you can really get wrong. After that, I go Devondre Campbell, Devin White, Tremaine Edmonds, Eric Kendricks, Deion Jones. And at 10, James, this one, I was feeling a little bit frisky. I bumped up Nick Bolton. I think he had a phenomenal rookie year with Kansas City, and the dude is only getting better. And if you're wondering, Micah Parsons is on the outside linebacker list.
No, that's not what I was wondering.
Okay.
I was wondering why you had Tremaine Edmonds so low.
Um, Basically because I liked the other guys better. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it, James.
I probably would take your list, take Tremaine Edmonds, and put him at number 5.
And then everybody else slide him down.
And everybody else slide him down, and then I'd be good with it. Maybe Bolton might be a little high there.
Yeah,
Like,
it was getting aggressive with Bolton. I know. He's got to prove it.
But when I look at everyone else there, it's like the guys you moved them ahead. Like I see all of them at their decline, or they have the injury history. So I can't make a strong argument on why he shouldn't
Sure, I gotcha.
be there.
And with Edmonds, I'll tell you this, man. Uh, I, for my list, would easily flip him with Devin White, who I have above him. I'd be hard pressed to put him above Devondre Campbell, uh, just because I felt like Devondre Campbell had a great season last year, and I'm expecting him to repeat that. But Edmonds, he's been pretty damn good too, man. The guy that I did drop the most was Eric Kendricks. I'm a little bit worried about him in Minnesota, man. That defense really fell apart last year. I think they've retooled it and can come back this year. But I'm wondering where Kendricks fits in that equation. Is he going to get back to sort of like that peak form, or have we seen his best days already behind him now? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so moving on to outside linebacker, James. They've got T.J. Watt at the top, then Khalil Mack, Von Miller, Darius Leonard, Roquan Smith, Micah Parsons, Shaquille Barrett, Matthew Judon, Zadarius Smith, and Shaq Thompson. T.J. Watt's at the top with a 96. Thompson's at 10 with an 84. Not a bad spread. I like T.J. Watt at top. I don't know how you can argue that. Instead of Mack at 2, I go Darius Leonard, and then I go Parsons at 3. After that, I get to the older guys, Khalil Mack, Von Miller. Then I go back, I got Roquan Smith, Shaq Barrett, Zadarius Smith, Matthew Judon. And at 10, instead of Shaq Thompson, I got Logan Wilson from Cincinnati, who's really only a couple spots down. I didn't go crazy like I did with Nick Bolton there.
I don't think I can argue with your list.
I mean, what do you think about Parsons at 3? Or do you like Madden having him down at 6 or whatever it is, 5, 6.
I fucking love Micah Parsons. Um, so I think 3 and on the incline
Yeah.
from there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was hard pressed to put him above Darius Leonard and T.J.
Yeah,
Watt. You know.
exactly. Hard pressed to put him above them, but he is definitely on the up.
Yeah, and I love Khalil Mack, but I feel like his best days are behind him, and so I
Oh,
I
his
thought,
best days are way behind.
gotta do that there. And I think as Darius Smith, he could be a really freaking good outside linebacker. I think that was a sweet pickup for Minnesota, but you know, we talked about him a few weeks ago, why he left Green Bay and what the heck was going on, and yada yada yada. Either way, let's move it on here. We're taking a lot of time. Next up, we got the cornerbacks. And so James at cornerback, they've got Jalen Ramsey, Jari Alexander, however you say his name. I know I always mess it
Jair.
up. Jair, thank you.
Jair.
Tre'Davious White, Darius Slay, big play Slay, Denzel Ward, Marshawn Lattimore, Stephon Gilmore, J.C. Jackson, Marlon Humphrey, and A.J. Terrell. Um, Ramsey's at the top with a 98. Terrell's at the bottom with an 89. It drops from Ramsey to Alexander from a 98 to a 94. That's how big of a spread you got there. Um, I keep Ramsey at the top. I would flip Alexander and White, and that's just a personal preference. I like Tre'Davious White. I know he had an injury recently. After that, listen, man, this is me, Lions fan, just maybe a little bit burned on Slay. But after Alexander, I go Ward, Lattimore, I bring up Xavier Howard, and then I go Slay. After Slay, I go Marlon Humphrey, AJ Terrell, and JC Jackson. I think Xavier Howard is way underrated on this list.
Yeah, I'm wondering. My thought is I'm actually wondering if you even have him underrated. I think that's a good. It's borderline, maybe one or possibly 1 or 2 spots better. I think Xavier Howard's should be right up there with the best corners in the league. Obviously, well, you're top 10. You're the best corners in the league, but I think he should be a little bit higher. I don't know where he might fall in that list.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you dropped Gilmore because he did not look
Oh yeah. Well, he's bouncing
like that.
teams now, which means something's not right with him.
Yeah,
Um,
I like
wh-
J.C. Jackson because like my thing was is I thought J.C. Jackson was a little bit underrated here. I for the most part I like your list. It's just I wonder if your annoyance with Slay is clouding your judgment
I have no
I
doubt it is. I have
I
no
think
doubt it is.
Slay I think Slay is on the Madden rankings is probably right around the right exact spot he should be at.
I'm fine with that. I will say this. So with Howard, he's got an 89 rating. If I gave him my courtesy 3-point bump, it puts him at 92. Arguably, I could put him as high as 4 on my list, which is 2 spots higher than I had him, and would have him like interchangeable with Slay. And so I could fairly move Slay up a little bit, but you know, I just feel like saying fuck Slay. Okay.
No, that's your prerogative. That's fine. I'm just saying,
Hey
be a
man,
little objective about it.
it pisses me off when good players bail on Detroit. And he talked a lot of shit about how he thought he was so fucking badass. And I don't know, dude. It's just whatever. Good for him. He's getting paid a shit ton of money in Philly, and he's playing great. They actually have a really fucking solid secondary, by the way. They got a lot of guys, especially this year. But,
Yeah.
hey, I'm allowed to be sore about it. All right, let's move on to safety, James, and we can skip special teams unless you really want to go there.
Are we gonna
Uh,
do strong safety then free safety or both of them together?
I put them all together.
All right, cool. That's what I thought we were gonna do. I just wanted to verify before I started getting lost in
Good to clarify. Good to clarify. Yeah, and hey, if I was getting paid the big bucks, I'll keep saying that, paid the big bucks, I probably would have split them out, but I'm not getting paid the big bucks. And so Madden's got Tyrann Mathieu at the top with a 94 rating. Then they go Derwin James, Buda Baker, Kevin Byard, Justin Simmons, Micah Hyde, Harrison Smith, Jamal Adams, Jesse Bates, and Jordan Poyer. Pretty impressive. They've got two guys from Buffalo in the top 10. Rightfully so. They're both pretty goddamn good. Um, I would listen, man. I'm not trying to get down on Matthew. I this is just I flipped these rankings a decent amount, and I would have had Justin Simmons at the top. I like him. I've been following him a lot this past year, and I think he's in the prime of his career. He just got his deal with Denver last year, whatever. I like him a lot. After him, I would have went Buda Baker. I think he is, Madden's got him as their number three guy. I think he's like underrated in league circles. You don't hear his name enough. The guy is really fucking good. And then at three, this is the probably the biggest. Well, it's got to be the biggest jump on this list. I go Minka Fitzpatrick. I was shocked when I saw him outside of the top 10. Then I go Matthew, Derwin James, Kevin Byard, Jesse Bates, Micah Hyde. I go Harrison Smith at 9 and Jamal Adams at 10. And so my list varied a decent amount from the Madden list. It did have a lot of the same names, though.
So I would put Derwin on yours. I would put Derwin James at number one.
Okay.
I would.
I just, my hesitation is the guy, he's missed so much time, and I know last year was a lot better for him. I don't know. And then like right now he's like holding out for a contract. It's just like, man, I got to see this guy on the field more. But when he's on the field, he plays fucking great. I hear you on that.
I might put Poyer ahead of Micah Hyde.
Okay. That's fair. Poyer's, he's been solid.
Outside of that, I think your list is solid.
Nice. Okay. And I guess I will say this before we go on. I like Antoine Winfield Jr.'s rating. I might have given him a little bit of a bump, maybe not the full 3, but I like him a lot. I think he's only getting better, and so I'm okay with where he's at. Quandre Diggs, 84. It's nice to see him getting some respect. I think he's a lot better than people have given him credit for, going back to his time with Detroit. I think he's been a steal for Seattle, and so I just wanted to call him out, James. Special teams, I'm just going to say this. Justin Tucker, and then seriously, do we have to talk about anybody else? I don't know. Are you actually searching for kickers?
No, I was going to say, I was actually looking at punters, not kickers.
Okay. The punters have more of the leg strength than the kickers, man. Freaking Jack Fox from Detroit, 79 rating. What the fuck's up with that? He should easily get the 3-point, make him an 82. That guy's been great.
The highest rated punter is fucking 84.
Yep.
Which is fucking weird to me that it's weird to me that it's that fucking high.
Well, look at the kickers too. Minus Tucker, the highest rated kicker's an 84.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, to me, I think it's harsh. I think they're being harsh on him because it's like you have to grade them based on their position, not like just on being football players. And so it's like Butker with an 84, in my opinion, is really low. He's been a very solid kicker.
Young Ho Koo. I know it's Young Wei. I like saying Young Ho.
I like calling him Young Ho too. He's been solid, man.
Yeah.
Like really him with an 82. Come on, he should at least be an 85. But they're hard on him. And then Prater's at a 78. I get it. Prater's kind of on the way down now, but Prater's still got the fucking monster leg, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could have done better with boosting some of those ratings, but hey, whatever, you know. And then like at punter, Rigoberto Sanchez, 76. He could have been a lot higher on the list, I thought. He did great. Similarly with the kicker from Indy, Rodrigo Blankenship, although he kind of got a little streaky. But that's all right. I don't want to keep going on special teams, man. You know, because nobody's watching the show for special teams, James. I mean, maybe a kicker if we got a kicker that's a viewer, you know. If we do, hit us up, man. I want to know, and then I'll talk more about special teams. Uh, you look phased, man. You all right?
No, I'm just trying to figure out some of these fucking ratings that they're doing for some of these players. Like, why the fuck are you rating Aaron Donald on kicking strength?
Oh yeah, they give everybody a rating for all the categories, is what it is. But yeah, it's and maybe they do that because we talked about Tyree Jackson. It's like you get guys that can convert sometimes, and they still want to show that they've got something else that you're not really paying attention to, which I guess could be a valuable thing if Tyree Jackson's ever in a, you know, Philly special or some kind of crazy play. You know, as a defensive coordinator, you got to know, shit, that guy can throw the ball, man, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's Ndamukong Suh lining up for an extra point, well, shit, he can kick, even though he missed his one PAT with the Lions way back in the day.
Yeah. So, anyways, I was just like looking at some of those. It's just like, oh man, doesn't make fucking sense to me. Why? Why is fucking Aaron Donald a fucking 28 for his juke move rating,
Well, he's a little tight in the hips, James.
or a 25 for his spin move?
Yeah, I know. Well, I could see him having a better spin move than that because it's kind of part of the repertoire of, pass rush moves. You got to be able to spin off those blockers.
Yeah, or a 30 for a stiff arm.
Oh yeah, I mean, fuck, if he stiff arms somebody, lights out.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's just why I look phased.
Okay. Well, why don't we look at that a little bit more, James, and just kind of go in position by position. I had a couple notes. If you want to filter to the quarterbacks, let's start there. And I know we've been going for a while, so we can speed through this if you want, or we can pick it up later another time, or let it go. Whatever you want to do, man. You tell me. How
I'm
you
good,
feeling?
I'm good for a minute. I'm starting to get hungry though, so
Oh, all right, all right. Well, here, let me point out a couple quick things then. I'll tell you this. Um, Lamar Jackson, 96 speed, which obviously the top quarterback, but also 10th fastest of any player in Madden. I thought that was impressive and worth pointing out. Um, in general, there are a lot of quarterbacks with speed now, James. There are 11 starters with at least 85 speed and 3 over 90, which is just, it blows my mind, but that's the way the league has moved. Um,
well, if you want to count 94, 490 or above.
well, I only counted starters.
Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, and Malik Willis is.
Yeah,
I
he's not a
gotcha.
starter yet.
He's going to be a starter.
Yeah, but he has 92 speed. That was higher than I was expecting. Wide receiver. There are at least 3 guys in that top 10 list for speed, but they're not significant contributors. And so if you sort it by speed, 3 of those top 10, they're guys that just aren't really relevant, which I just thought was good to point out because it goes to show there's more to the game than being fast, James. Also with the wide receivers, I was a little surprised. I would say a little with Brandon Cooks, more so with Kadarius Toney. Both those guys were top 10 in change of direction. I could see it with Cooks. Tony, I just thought, wow, they really think he's got some wiggle. And I talked to you before the show about Michael Thomas. It pissed me off when I saw that he's got a 99 toughness rating.
Yeah.
That shit's just beyond me, James. His injury's 87, but still, come on, man. I get it. You're tough when you're on the field, but you need to get your ass on the field. Running back, for the most part, I wasn't as surprised by the ratings. It mostly looked in line with kind of what I thought. I did think it was worth pointing out Philip Lindsay scored a 99 carry rating. Good for that guy, man. I mean, super safe with the frickin' ball in his hands. And then also, I was really encouraged by the 93 speed rating for Kenneth Walker. I think with Chris Carson retiring, it's going to give him a lot of opportunity splitting carries with Rashad Penny, and maybe more early in his career. Tight end, I wanted to throw the old guy some love. Mercedes Lewis, he's still rocking it. He's near the top in strength and near the top in run blocking. Good for him. I thought Robert Tonyan's catch rating of a 96 was a little bit high. That has him tied with Kelsey. I just wasn't a big fan of it. And then,
that's a product. That's a product though of Rodgers though. Rodgers
yeah,
can be so accurate with the ball that how's he gonna how's
how's
Tanya
he going
gonna
to not
drop it?
catch it? He'd
Yeah.
look like stone hands, I guess. And then I'll say this, in general, tight ends have really shitty pass blocking ratings. 66 is the highest. I would have thought there would have been some higher than that, but it is what it is. I guess the Brandon Pettigrews of the league are gone.
Are you kidding me? I
No,
did not see that.
no, they some of them are in the 70s for run blocking, but 66 for pass blocking is the highest one.
Oh,
And
okay, pass block.
yeah, and a lot of these
I didn't
guys,
hear pass.
yeah, a lot of these guys they're more towards catching the ball now, man. It's a different kind of tight end. For offensive linemen, I will like I will point out Charles Leno from Washington. He was in the top 10 for both run blocking and pass blocking, which I just thought was good for him, man. I think, you know, I never hear anybody talk about this guy. That's pretty solid.
Who the fuck is Charlie Hewlett or Tommy Hudson?
Um,
They're tight ends. Or
Made up
Chris
names?
Manhertz.
Oh, I've heard of Manhurts. What's he, Carolina?
Jacksonville.
Hmm.
Or Blake Bell.
Yep, I've heard of Blake Bell.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
throwing these out. Like the reason why like the pass blocking and the run blocking tight ends aren't there is like the ones that are like really up there in those for especially for pass blocking, you don't know. I mean,
yeah.
aside from like Travis Kelsey and like Njoku,
Oh, yeah.
it's like who the fuck is Devin Aziazi?
He was with the Patriots.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm making a point with it.
I
Is
got you, James. I
isn't Nick
got you.
Boyle a quarterback, not a tight end?
No, he's with the Ravens, man.
I'm being facetious.
Well, I gotta pick up on that better, I guess.
So,
Um,
but when you look at the run blocking, like outside of like outside a few of them,
yeah,
you've pretty much heard of everybody on that list.
yeah, yeah. I got you. You're talking like with Kittle and those guys.
Yeah, so it's like well, Nick Boyle, but Kittle, Mercedes Lewis, Max Williams, Goddard, Hunter Henry, Eric Tomlinson, Travis Kelsey. Like you've heard
Yeah,
of all these guys that are in
yeah.
the top 10 there.
All right. So offensive linemen. I did want to point out our homies from Central Michigan, James. Bernard Raymond came in with a 90 strength rating. Luke Gadecki with an 87. I point that out, and this is more about the game, Madden, and I'm hoping it's a good indicator. Typically in the game, if you find offensive linemen with that highest strength coming out of college, rookie year guys, it bodes well for their development in the game. And
Hmm.
so I thought that was cool. I'm hoping in real life these guys both do good. I feel like they will, but nobody really knows. Defensive lineman, dude, fucking Jordan Davis for Philly, the rookie out of Georgia, coming in with a monster 96 strength rating, man. That is badass, buddy.
Hmm.
Um, Other than that, I don't know, man. I will say I felt like the cornerbacks, I didn't get a very good list here. Um, there's a lot of high ratings for the rookies, like high 70s. And I thought that was aggressive because some of the first round guys from last year are only rated around 75 this year, and that's with a
Hmm.
year of development in the league. And so I thought Madden was maybe a little bit aggressive with the rookie cornerbacks, but you know it could also just be that these guys were a lot higher rated coming out of college, and so it is what it is. I know some of the top guys from last year, they crept into the 80s this year, and so the development was there. I thought there was some disparity worth pointing out with the cornerback ratings for the rookies, the young guys.
Yeah, I don't know why some of these players. I think you're right. It's just they're more highly rated, or now that we've seen them in the pros, they kind of like, oh well, we were wrong on them. I'd be
Yeah.
interested. It's a product of of a future endeavor, but to do the comparison on where they were rated last year versus this year.
Well, and that's what I thought was if I could get last year's ratings, which I'm sure are out there somewhere, that could help. But either way, it's more work than we need to get into right now.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my accelerated version of pointing out some of the interesting ratings. James, if you're good, I'll take us to question of the week.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
All right, I got to get you to dinner, man. So here we go. Question of the week. I mentioned Kenneth Walker earlier, James, running back out of Michigan State. Um, my question of the week is: will Kenneth Walker become the lead back in Seattle this season? And if so, by when? My
Week one.
opinion, you're going to snipe me on this. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I
Sorry.
like your aggressiveness.
We missed something in the news of the week. Chris Carson retired because
Yes.
of his neck injury
Thank you. Thank you.
from
And yeah,
from
that's
last year.
that's part of my reason for this with Kenneth Walker. I know Rashad Penny is going to get the first crack at the starting job. He's had some durability issues in the past. When he's healthy, he's played good on the field. I think they're going run heavy this year, that's obvious. That's what Pete Carroll wants. Them trading away Russell Wilson clearly indicates that. I think even if Penny is the starter out of the gate, there's going to be a committee because there's going to be a lot of carries to go around. I think it's only a matter of time before he either gets hurt or Kenneth Walker just shows that he's that fucking good and wins the job outright. I think for sure by the halfway point he's got the job. But I like what you're saying by week one. Hey man, as a fellow Sparty, I hope he gets it sooner than later.
Yeah. So when you look at Rashad Penny, the injury history is what worries me. Also, if you look at their Madden rankings, Penny's at a 78, Walker's at a 77.
Yeah, a 78 with however many years of experience in the league.
Yeah.
It's
So
good to point that out.
they're basically right there as Madden season. So
Hmm.
I could see easily if Penny makes it through camp without injury, I could see Walker beating him out because I think his rating and he's just going to skyrocket.
Yeah, he's only going up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're on board with me and you picked up on that. Thank you. Okay, so that's our question of the week. And for anybody who's watching, we hope you like the show. Play Name That Stadium, answer our question of the week. And we need a topic for next week. So if you got a topic, hit us up. It'll be more fun if you give us a topic because then you'll probably watch the video. So,
Yes.
James, hey man, like always, it was a good time, buddy. I'll catch you later, homie.
All right, sounds good. Have a good one.
Gridiron Grinder. Hut hut hike.